still. Yeah, but Arsenal has just low standards. It doesn't really count. I'm talking about a big club, yeah. Like,
Phase of the problem. Ollie's fine. It's just nah, stop it, guys.
Hello, people. This is Scott here. Due to Will being ill, I'm going to take over the show. I'm going to be hosting it. So this is the Grounded Chelsea show. We're gonna like.
And he's frozen.
Oh my gosh!
What a great
Straight away.
Start
It took literally 15 seconds.
What a start.
No way.
Oh, you're there. You're there.
Okay, you're there.
Now
All
you're
right.
muted. I think. Oh no, you're back. You're back.
No, I'm back. So this is the Grounded Chelsea show. We're gonna talk about Chelsea. But first of all, let me introduce the panel to you guys. We got Andrew, we got Oscar, we got Marshall, we got Real Chris. How are you guys doing today?
All good, man. All good.
Pretty good, man.
Doing okay.
Yeah, all good,
Yep.
man. Good. This is not
Yeah.
a KH No Filter show. This is
I'm
not a KH
gonna-
No Filter show.
Yeah.
I dare swear that I would be like I would try to do my best, to be well behaved, not offend nobody. But
Remain grounded.
Yeah. So remember, guys, let's start with the Euros, right? England. I mean, I know like two of us, or Chris debatably if he's an England fan or not. He keeps switching from Wales to England. What do you guys think about the Euros? What team impressed you? What team didn't? What do you guys think? Who for you was the dark horse, like in the beginning of the Euros? Anyway, Andrew, I'll start with you, bro.
Dark horse. It's very dark. I think the dark horse. I thought I didn't really do much background check on internationals.
Yeah.
I really don't like internationals apart from the tournament. So
Not the
actually,
same.
for me, I did put Italy as the dark horse, but then someone went to me, who undefeated in like 30 matches and haven't conceded in like 9 or 10 games. I went, they can't really be considered a dark horse, but I thought on that side of the draw, because we did the predictions, I thought they might have been. So I did think Italy were. But the team that really obviously surprised me was obviously Denmark, especially after the horrific start they had in this tournament as well. And then somehow that Russia game when they won 4-1 and Christensen smashed that ball in, it just, I just wanted them to do well. And I'll admit this to you, I stopped supporting England in 2016 because of that dinosaur Roy Hodgson. Just kicked the joy out of England for me. But I'm not an England hater. So if they would have won, I would have congratulated them. But if they lost, I'm not hammering them. But, they played well. They got through. But Italy, I thought, overall, deserved it.
Yeah.
I think they played the best team football I've seen. And I thought Sunday that England played right into their hands. I think England after England scored, I think they played right into their hands. So I think Italy were the worthy winners. It would have been great. It would have been great for this country if England won it. But then seeing some of the people, and it's not all of them, but seeing some of the people the way they acted on Sunday before the game makes me actually glad they didn't get the right to celebrate it. But yeah, Italy for me were my dark horses. Because I didn't do any research.
Oscar, what about you, bro?
Yeah, man. On my podcast, we did like predictions of who we thought was going to do what, and everyone obviously put like France as the winners. I put Italy as my like surprise package because I thought they'd do well. I never thought they would win it, but I was impressed with the Euros. Like Andrew said, Denmark was surprising. Czech Republic was surprising. And I was pretty impressed with the Chelsea boys because like most of the Chelsea players turned up and had a good tournament. Like Christensen was good. Kai Havertz was Germany's best player. Obviously you had Jorginho, who I thought was player of the tournament. I thought he was outstanding. So yeah, I enjoyed the Euros, man. I like knockout football. When it gets to the knockout stages, I'm invested, and it was good.
Yeah, that's Marshall. What about you, bro? I know you love international football. You would love international football. You love international football. You love Chelsea, man. So.
No, that's not true. But I did enjoy the Euros a lot. I enjoyed a little bit of Copa America too. But my dark horse in the beginning of the tournament, I had a howler. And I think a lot of people had a howler. I had Turkey.
I
had
knew it
Turkey.
before you said it.
Yeah, I had Turkey before anyone said it. You know what it was? I was so convinced of how they played during the what was the tournament they just had? The Nations League. Yeah, the Nations League. The Nations League. I was so convinced of how they played during the Nations League that I was, I was bought into the idea that Yilmaz is gonna be top striker of the tournament, all this, and they just let me down completely. They were catastrophic. They only scored 1 goal the whole tournament. They couldn't even, win a game, barely scored a goal. It was bad. It was very bad. But I will say, at the end of the day, I think the true dark horse was Denmark. Denmark looked phenomenal. Like Andrew just mentioned earlier, when that Eriksen incident happened, it was just so, like, as a player, for one, it's your best player. So as a team, when your best player goes down, it's so easy to keep your head down as well and just bring more morale down as well. But it did quite the opposite. It actually motivated them to push harder. And I saw a lot of ballers in that team during this tournament. Melee, Damsgaard, all these players really stepped up. So it was really awesome to see. Unfortunately, they did lose to England. And then the final, I think, was justified. I think Italy was the better team throughout the whole tournament. And then it showed at the end. It was unfortunate how the penalties ended. Jorginho also, the way he missed, I was upset, but it was kind of redeemed itself once England missed their penalty. So I was like, all right, good. We don't have to worry about any Jorginho agendas. But, I like the way it ended. I think Italy deserved it.
Yeah. Chris, the man who supports 2 national teams, what do you think about the Euros? Who was your dark horse before the tournament? And are you pleased at the end of it? Like with the result at the end of it?
Well, I wasn't completely pleased with the tournament because we lost 4-0, of course, but I thought it was a good Euros. Like, just as watching a lot of teams, like even Switzerland, Italy was good to watch. Belgium was good to watch. There's a lot of good teams out there. England surprised me, actually, in that tournament. They did play a good game against Ukraine, at least, as well. Yeah. But my dark horses were actually Wales, maybe, because I thought, they're going to come second in the group stage. And I was right about that, at least. And then they literally went tumbling down against Denmark to the real dark horses. Denmark had a great tournament. Like, they did their people proud. I'm sure it did Chris Eriksen proud, all those players proud and everything. But it was a good Euros. England as well. I didn't expect them to beat Germany. I just didn't. I don't think a lot of English fans didn't expect it either. Yep. So it was a surprising thing. Spain played good as well, fair. Like they played good football too. Your country.
Yeah, they broke. Spain broke my heart. For people who don't know this, like I have Spanish roots. Originally from Israel, but it is what it is. So I support Spain every tournament, but Spain this time, man, it was just a bit because at least me, I didn't expect much from them because I know how young this team is, and also because they have Morata up front, So it's for me to expect Morata to score a lot of goals is something that it's hard to expect from a guy like him. I think he overperformed in some moments, but in some moments he just went back to the Chelsea's Morata. But you know what? The Euros in the beginning, I wasn't really enjoying it because I was busy with other stuff and with life and stuff. But once I got really deep into it, I was surprised with it. Especially Ukraine. For me, Ukraine surprised me. The way they played, the way that they survived. Will is going to be happy about this. But the Euros behind us. It's done. Congratulations to Italy. I'm overjoyed for Jorginho because he deserves it. He's a guy who gets criticized a lot.
Jorginho deserved it.
And he's one of our boys as well. So congratulations to him and to Emerson, who also I thought Emerson performed really well for the tournament. When he came and filled in the gap for them, he was really good. People, about the questions about all the stuff with the Chelsea stuff, we'll do the Q&As at the end of the show. But right now we're going to move in to things that a lot of people have been talking about, which is which players are coming in, which players are leaving Chelsea, and we'll start with the players who are leaving. Apparently, Tammy Abraham is he's going to get an offer from West Ham, which basically means that he leaves Chelsea. Apparently, he wants to join Declan Rice at West Ham because he's his friend and all that stuff. What do you guys think about that? We'll start from Marshall. What do you think about the Tammy news? You know, him wanting to leave and stuff.
I mean, are we really surprised? You know, like we kind of knew that Tuchel didn't have him in his plans last season.
Yeah.
If he were to stay, and you know, I think a lot of this really depends on technicalities. Like, if we get a Haaland, then Tammy's definitely out. But if we don't, does Tammy stay? If Tammy stays, does Tuchel try to work with him to try to like make him into the player that he needs him to be? I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be asked, questions in the air, depending on what comes in and what comes out. But in order to get things to come in, we need the players to come out. So there's a lot of confusion. It's a lot of questions to be asked. But I'm not really surprised. I think Tammy should go to West Ham. I think we should sell him for a good fee. My only concern is then we only have one striker, one real striker. If you want to count Kai Havertz, then we have two, but he's not like an out-and-out striker. So I think Chelsea should move with caution. It'll be sad to see Tammy go because I do want him to be a great player. But from what I'm seeing, it's just even under Tuchel, it's not happening. So one of the few players that under Tuchel doesn't seem to have improved, or Tuchel just doesn't see anything in him. So we'll see what happens. But if he goes to West Ham, I hope for the best for him, and I hope he just bangs in goals, just not against us.
Oscar, I'll move to you, bro. I know you're a big advocate of the youth and their well-beings.
Do you know what? I'm not. How can I put it? Maybe I am a big advocate for the youth.
Yeah.
When it comes to Tammy Abraham, Marshall, you said there's a bit of confusion. Personally, I think there's no confusion at all. It is clear as day. Thomas Tuchel does not rate this guy, does not fancy him, does not like him. For him to be left out of an FA Cup final squad when we had three centre-backs. Sorry, three left-backs. Sorry, a left-back player and two left-backs on the bench. That's basically what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And then the Champions League final squad, when he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup, he was our overall top goal scorer when Tuchel came into the club. He started him a couple games and realized this guy, I don't know what it is, but he does not like the way Tammy plays. He does not fancy him. He's not in his plans. Now, the fact that Giroud is pretty much gone, it does leave a little bit of like, okay, Chelsea are trying to get a main striker in. And then, do we need a second backup striker? I've heard people talk about like Broja as the potential person to come in. But if I was a betting man, I'd bet money that Tammy Abraham is leaving this window. And I don't think Tammy is as bad as some Chelsea fans make him out to be.
Yeah.
One thing he's proved throughout his career is that he's a goal scorer. Like he scored, I know it was Championship, but he did score a lot of goals in the Championship. For two different clubs, he scored over 20 goals. Then he came to Chelsea and scored 15 league goals, which is not the greatest tally ever, but it's better than Werner. It's better than Morata. It's better than, Higuain. The numbers of some of the strikers we've had that are senior players did not get Tammy Abraham's numbers.
And Oscar, onto your point, to come from Championship and then the next season follow that form up in Premier League, that's impressive. That can't be just overshadowed. I agree with you on that.
Because he's not the best all-around player, man. His hold-up play, his passing. You could criticize so many holes in his game, but when he's in a team, if you put him in for a run of games, he will score the odd goal here and there, and then by the end of the season, he'll have 10 plus goals, and you're like, where did those 10 even come from? So big up Tammy. I hope he goes somewhere else and does well, but I don't think it's at Chelsea anymore.
Yeah, to me, Tammy just doesn't fit Tuchel's system. To me, he's not mobile enough. I think there's potential there for him to thrive in another team. Chelsea right now, there's no time for him for us to wait for him to develop. And if the club do sell him, I think it's the right move. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his because I'm not a big fan of this lanky, tall strikers who are not very mobile, but good luck to him. I have nothing against the guy. It's not like I have an agenda against him like apparently I do with Adoy, but we'll let it go. Andrew, what do you think about Tammy as well? Tammy news and stuff.
I'm in total agreement with Oscar. I think even if Tammy did stay, I still don't think Tuchel would pick him. I just don't think he would pick him. He was fit. He was fit throughout the end of the season. Yeah. 2 goalkeepers were picked on the bench, I think, for the Champions League final. 2 goalkeepers, yeah? You don't need 2 goalkeepers on the bench with Champions League final. Tammy was there. He was fit. We saw he was there. He celebrated on the pitch. I think it's telling. I think it's telling. Remember, he brought him off once. He brought him off the first time at half time in one game. He then did it a second time, and I think from there he's gone. He just doesn't fancy him. He just doesn't fancy him. Doesn't think he can play in any system that he has. Doesn't think he will benefit his team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for the good of Tammy himself, he needs to leave as well, and don't waste coming into his prime years as a footballer. Now, do I think he will improve? That's up to Tammy. That's not up to any fan to do. Tammy. There is room for improvement in Tammy's game. We all know that. He is a good player. Can he be better? That's up to him to do that, because there is facets in his game that needs improving. Heading, for example, a little bit more movement in the box. Do you know what I mean? Hold up play a little bit. And he's 23, so we could see that improve. But I don't think at Chelsea he's going to get that. And Tuchel doesn't seem to want to do it. And we know that Tuchel does. When he does fancy play, he will coach them. Look what he's done for Ben Chilwell, for example. You know what I mean? He will put the time in. He will do that.
Yeah.
But Tammy needs to go. And I understand Chelsea fans. Oh, we should get 60 million, 50 million for him. I'd be fine if we got 50 or 60 million for him. I just think clubs know that we unofficially want to sell him. You know what I mean? We haven't officially said we want to sell him, but it's unofficial that we want to sell him. That's why you're seeing 35 million, 40 million pounds. If he wants to go to West Ham, that's great. I don't know. Kai's not going to like what I'm going to say next. I don't know if that then starts the inroads for a Rice transfer next season. Not this season. Do you know what I mean? But if he wants to sell him, he wants to sell him. I wish him well. Obviously, I don't wish him well when he plays against us, because no Chelsea fans wish the next player well against us. But I just think if he stays and we don't get Haaland, I just don't think we are then. I'm not comfortable with him as our leading striker or even a second choice striker, because we are Chelsea and we know the strikers we've had in the past. Costa, Anelka, Didier Drogba, top quality finishers, top quality leading the line. But I just don't think Tammy will do that for us. And overall, you could see then the fans starting to turn against him, because even though he would try his best, they wouldn't see it as his best. And you could easily, some people don't like him now, but you could easily see like that when the crowds come back, they'll start to turn a bit as well. And I don't want that for Tammy as well. I don't want that. So he should go. He should actually ask to leave himself.
I think didn't they say that he already did ask to leave, like before the Champions League final or something? There was news that he.
I don't know. There's loads of rumours, isn't there, Kai? I don't know who to believe. Chris,
what about you? I know you love all the players other than Alonso. What do you feel about them?
I've been agreeing with all of you, fair. Like Oscar as well. Like Tuchel doesn't like him. Like as a player, like he doesn't suit Tuchel. And if Tuchel's here to stay for like a year or so, Tammy doesn't want to sit there rotting on a bench. I don't think so. You can see it from his girlfriend as well. Like girlfriend like posts like stuff about Chelsea, how you're leaving Tammy out when you see your top score or whatever. Like they're just not happy. So I think a move to like a West Ham or something, like a mid-table club, maybe like it would just be good for Tammy Abraham. And like I hope the best for him, because he is a good player and he seems like a nice person, and he helped us in the first season to get to the Champions League. So. I just like him as a player, but he's just not here like to move us forward, like to the Premier League or something like that. So, I'll stick with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's not like the striker that we need at Chelsea. We need that next level. Whether he will be that in the future or not, we'll have to wait to see. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see that at Chelsea if he does take that leap to the next level. But all the best to him. All the best to him. Yeah. Now we're actually going to go into another player that I personally don't want at Chelsea. And I think like for the price that is being quoted for him, I think he doesn't offer us like what we should be expecting from a player of the fee that is being quoted, which is 80 million, which is Declan Rice. I really did. really don't enjoy talking about that guy because I just don't see what he would offer this midfield that basically have different solution to different games, and it's the price for me is what put me off. Oscar, again, what do you think about the Rice? Do you think it's a good deal? Should we do it? Should we not? Considering the price and what we have right now.
I'll explain my thoughts on Declan Rice. So when it comes to him for West Ham, I didn't really watch a lot of West Ham. I've always seen him for the past couple of years and thought he's a good player, he's doing all right. And then I remember Souček came into their team, and I was really impressed by Souček, like straight away. But Declan Rice, I never really understood how good this guy could be if he moved to a big team. Then I started watching the Euros, and I'm a big England fan. I didn't mention it earlier, but I watch all the England games. So I started watching Declan Rice play for England, and I realized this guy is really not a confident player on the ball. Like, he's not a ball progressive midfielder. There were so many times when England had the ball with him and Phillips and no creativity was happening. They wouldn't pass the ball forward. They wouldn't play a through ball. They wouldn't drive forward as much. So he just felt a bit useless. He felt like he was hiding from the ball. He felt like he didn't believe in his ability. And then when Harry Maguire came into the team, Harry Maguire started doing all the things that I expected Declan Rice to be doing when they're quoting 80 million for you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So this summer, like before that, I was kind of like, I don't mind Declan Rice coming in. We'll see how good this guy is really. But this summer, I was adamant, I don't want him regardless of the price tag. So even if he was 30, 40 million, I'd be like, no, we've got Jorginho, we've got Kante. We should be getting players that are of that level or in the future can elevate to higher than that level. Yeah. I don't see Declan Rice as one of those players right now. And if you're going to say 80 million, that's outrageous. Definitely.
That's outrageous, definitely. Because 80 million, for 80 million, you would expect a player that is special, And if you're paying 80 million or 60 million, you would expect something to improve. You don't expect to have a player who is arguably inferior to the options that we have right now, which for me, I think each one of our people are saying, oh, but he's a destroyer. He's not a ball contributor. But we have the best destroyer on the planet, N'Golo Kante. We don't need another one, especially for 80 million, when we are struggling already to score goals and we're struggling in attack. So for me, I don't know. Marshall, what is your 2 cents about this? Like, what do you think?
I don't think he's worth 80 million. I don't think. Look, I get it. I mean, there's 4 years on his contract. That's why he's so expensive. You buy him, you get him for 4 years. You have a player there. You don't have to worry about another player for a minute. I get that, but even if he, and I agree with Oscar on this point, even if he was as cheap as 40 mil or 30 mil, I still rather have a Tchouaméni. I still rather have a Camavinga. It's just that I've seen more of what I like to find in players in that position from those players than I've seen from Declan Rice. Now, I'm not saying that like, because Kai, you bring up that, if we bring a player, it should be to improve the squad. I don't necessarily think that's the case with.
I think for the price quoted, Marshall, if you pay that much for a player, you expect him to improve the squad. Usually the backup players are like 30, especially today's markets, 30, 40, 60 and 80. Fair. You're entering the Kai Havertz territory, you enter Jadon Sancho territory. You're expecting those players who come in and they, elevate your squad quality to where it's supposed to be.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree that, like I said, we pay for Declan Rice now. It's a 4-year deal that's coming over as well. I'm not saying that like maybe on his 3rd year of a contract or the 4th year of the contract, he'll elevate to that player that will improve the squad. I'm not saying that's not possible. But in my opinion, I think a Tchouaméni that I like a lot because Seth rates him, and he was playing under one of the best midfielders we've ever seen in Fabregas. I really trust that. I really like that. That appeals to me a lot more. I like one of the things that I really wish I could see a lot more from Jorginho is the creative freedom and the risk taking that you see from a Ziyech, for example, with the passing. And I get it. Like, at the end of the day, tactics are tactics, and you're not going to expect.
It's a bit of a different kind of
different players, but also different managers. You know, like how Jorginho plays under Mancini is not going to be the same as how Jorginho plays under Tuchel, and people need to understand that too, because a lot of like people criticize Jorginho for not playing how he plays in Italy for Chelsea. Like there's different tactics, there's different types of possession and all these demands being asked of him than a Mancini would on Italy. So I like that Tchouaméni has those abilities in his pocket, and then if he were to come to the club, he can express himself in that way. Where Declan Rice, to me, is not. He's a good player. He's a good player, and I think if Conte were to go, he would be a good destroyer to have as a backup to a Conte, or Conte even gets injured. You know, if we really need that in the team at the time, but. 80 mil, I can't be asked to spend that much money when we have other places that we need to improve, like a striker, another winger possibly, or a left back to give Chilwell competition, you know, or a right back to give to start phasing out Aspie, center back. There's a bunch of other positions, and 80 mil that takes up a lot of that chunk.
Yeah. Andrew, Rice. Worth it, not worth it? Should we not? We already had this feels like deja vu, but
yeah, we did it in KH the other night. I think you know my guy's position. If not, I'll just say it again. My position is probably like nearly everyone else, is the price more than the player himself. I believe there's a good player there. I think people maybe are underrating him quite a lot because it involves the price. The issue is that I'm not paying. I'm usually the guy who says if Chelsea pay the money, it's them and it's fine. If they choose to do it, fine. If it's me, I'm not paying £80 million for a player who I feel needs still a bit of improvement in areas. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know he's played a lot in the Premiership, Premier League, and I've got big sample size and everything like that. But I just feel, you know, if we're paying £80 million for a defensive midfielder, then I'm expecting Jorginho maybe Kante's a bit unfair, a Jorginho type, you know, defensive midfielder, or another good Kimmich defensive midfielder of that near to that quality, because it's £80 million. Now, if he comes, and if he puts on a blue shirt, I'll get behind him. But I'm just not it's weird from Chelsea for even approach. This is, I know the Haaland transfer is a different thing altogether.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Haaland next.
The Rice one though doesn't, because Chelsea always try and look for a deal in every transfer that they do. Even the Kai Havertz one, they got a deal on that. It's just strange that they would like think about paying like I don't think they would, but like up to £80 million for him. It's just out of the blue, and also. If you're £80 million, Kai, he's got to come into the team right away
and improve it. Yeah, that's what I said.
And we'll put £80 million player on
with the Havertz deal as well. We had the cards, you know. We had like the control of the deal because he had like 1 year. I think it was like 1 year left in his contract.
2 years left, right? With an option of a fourth.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So this guy, he has more control. West Ham have more control, and I think like if you look at like the player Havertz is, and you look at the player Rice is, this is the difference between them in quality. For me, Havertz, if you look at his stats and the goals scored, is like one of the best under 21 players in Europe at the time. Like him and Sancho, like neck to neck, and there is Mbappe. That's it. That's like. So I don't understand where is that price quoted from. In fact, he is English, and to be fair, I'm not a big fan of him. But Chris, I know Chris is a positive guy. Do you see or like what's gonna happen with Declan Rice? Would you be down for it?
Well. No, not really, because I'm seeing West Ham won't really budge under 80 million. He's not an 80 million player because he won't start over likes of Jorginho or Kante, or he might even struggle to start over Kovacic because Kovacic ain't a bad player. So when I look at I think every Chelsea fan will say he's not worth 80 million, and I'm pretty sure Mourinho, she's very stubborn, so I don't think she will literally bid 80 million for Declan Rice. He's he's a good defensive midfielder, nothing too special in attack. Like we have defensive midfielders who can sit deep as well. Like it's not like he offers anything different to our midfielders. So I just don't see him being an 80 million player for Chelsea. Maybe we're just using him as a smokescreen for Haaland. I don't know, but I don't see Chelsea going for it. Yeah, I don't see Chelsea going for Declan Rice.
Yeah, and if this ex-West Ham guy is reliable, which a lot of people tell me he is, the only reason Tammy is actually considering West Ham is because he wants to be close to the Rice. So I don't know. We'll see how it develops. I hope to God it doesn't. Because gives me Drinkwater flashes, you know. And I honestly I still don't know what Drinkwater is right now. That's how bad of a player he was for Chelsea. So I just hope it doesn't happen. Now let's move on to the big one, to the one that a lot of us are hoping is going to happen. Fabrizio today kind of like put some cold water, you know, in our faces, like to calm us a bit. Him and Jan think it's not going to happen due to the fact that the price that Dortmund are asking for, and the fact that they think Chelsea would be reluctant to pay 150 million for a player that they know next season could be for half of that. But for me, it's an opportunity. And Andrew, what do you think, bro? The Haaland deal, should it happen? Should it not? Do you think it will happen?
Yeah, I mean, people are going freaked out because Jan said, "Oh, they haven't agreed."
Yeah.
Personal terms of Haaland camp. You don't agree. You don't announce personal terms with a player until after you bidded for the player and got that accepted. Everyone knows that. I believe. Listen, it's not even every day now. Every couple of hours, this story keeps changing. It flips one side to the other depending on which journalists you follow. I think though, it's all about the bid now for Chelsea. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's all about how much you're going to put down, and also then how much Dortmund get up front. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think it'll be like the Man United deal where it's like there will be payment structured, but I think we will, if we are successful in a bid for Haaland, there'll be more money up front, like a big chunk of it. I believe, I've been on different shows and everything. People tell me that personal terms have been fine, even the agents' fees are fine. I think you do it now, Kai, because this is a free run.
Yeah.
At Haaland. I don't care what anyone says about City. I don't think City have got the stomach to pay all that money, because they run their finances differently. So
I also think because of the financial fair play thing that happened to them, they're very careful how much players they do.
I just think this is a different transfer than any other transfers we may do or have done. This is a blockbuster transfer. Yeah. And I just think I'm sorry, I know people might see the money's obscene, and in some ways I agree, but I just don't think you pass up an opportunity. And if someone comes to me and goes, "Oh, what about Mbappe?" Same for Mbappe. If Mbappe was on the market and we were linked to him and the only one, I'd say the same for Mbappe. Yeah. Haaland, if he only stays 3 or 4 years, fine, but we could bag a lot of trophies in those 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And sell him, and if there's a clause in there, you sell him for whatever in 3 or 4 years, fine, but someone's got to still pay that money. Do you know what I mean? In 3 or 4 years, and we don't know if they're willing to do that with the finances in 3 or 4 years. I just think you just don't do it. You just don't pass up on Haaland. Opportunity. Free run at him. You just don't do it. And if he's the only transfer that comes in, I'm not going to complain. Yeah. I'm not going to complain, because I think we have got a really good team, and he's the missing piece. He's the missing piece. And if he comes in, I don't know what I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win trophies next season. I don't think it's only But I think he's going to bang a lot of goals, or we're going to score a lot of goals. We're going to smash teams next season. Yeah,
I think if Haaland comes to Chelsea, that is basically the evolution of this team. This team right now, it has so much talent in so many areas. It's so young, and if we can get that young striker, which is why I'm not a big fan of all this alternative, the Ings, all of that stuff. Lukaku I would take, because I know he would improve us in a similar way, but Haaland is that prize, man. He's that prize. If we can get him to Chelsea, it will take us from here to here, as far as like the level of this team. So I think even the
top 4 battle to championship battle.
That's exactly. And it's not the only thing. Yeah, it's not the only thing. I think all the players that are around him will start improving. Yeah, it will give them confidence that there is someone there to finish their chances. So Chelsea, if you think about it, that is we're talking about 21-year-old. That if we sign him, even if he's here for like 4 or 5, he can still be even better in 6 or 7, 8 to 10 years, because he is so that young. So that price can stretch out. If we pay 80 or 100 million for Lukaku, he's going to be good for us, 3-4 years. You add double that, and it gives us like a higher ceiling of you know, like of the time that we can utilize him for. And I don't think any Chelsea fan would not be like excited for next season if we sign Haaland, if you see him wearing that Chelsea shirt. Every Chelsea fan on this planet, no matter where you're from, gonna be like, wow, you know, like this season is gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see how it attacks. Because right now, as much as I like Werner, I'm a big fan of Werner. I want to do well. Right now, I think all of us are here thinking, where are our goals going to come from? Especially if we sell Giroud and if we sell Tammy. So I hope the club does the right thing and they make that signing. But Marshall, I know you're a fan of Haaland. What do you think about the Haaland signing?
I'm gonna ask to go last in this thing because I feel like what I have to say is going to spark a debate. So I want everyone to get a word in before I speak.
Oscar, you go.
I'm somebody, I hate transfer rumors. I hate the transfer cycle thing because it just goes round and round. You don't know who to trust. It's all nonsense. But this transfer excites me. I need Haaland at Chelsea Football Club. It's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. You get him at all costs. Exactly what Andrew said. If we sign nobody but Erling Haaland this summer, I would be happy. I'd be delighted. I'd say that's an amazing window. You have the opportunity to sign a guy that could get you 30 goals a season in the Premier League, that's rare. That's worth its weight in gold. Like you don't get those opportunities,
especially for Chelsea. Yeah,
as Kai meant, especially for Chelsea because we've had some great strikers over the time. Not always do you expect a high level of goals from any of them. Yeah. Even Costa and Drogba. Like you take Drogba's best seasons. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals, but the other seasons he didn't reach that many high number seasons. Mm-hmm. So if we were to get a striker like Erling Haaland and just have that goal problem sorted, like we know someone's going to finish chances, it's done. So I'm 100% on the Haaland train. That's pretty much it. The price tag doesn't affect me. Just go for it. And exactly what you were saying with Lukaku. Sorry, if we signed Lukaku, he'd be great for Chelsea. I have no doubts about that. But that would be his last big money move. Mm-hmm. Like Lukaku would come to Chelsea and probably retire at Chelsea, or he'd go and do like what Giroud's doing, a cheap move to another country and just do that. Whereas with Haaland, we take him, he elevates us, he helps us win trophies, and then potentially in 5 years we could sell him for more money than we bought him for.
Yeah, but he might stay as well. I remember I read the Drogba book, his biography. And in his book, he said that after the first season, he wanted to leave. Once he signed, he wanted to leave due to the way that the Chelsea fans treated him with the diving and stuff. But in the end, he just fell in love with the club and he stayed. People need to remember those players are humans like us. Their emotions have emotions like us. They fall in love just like us. If he likes what he achieves at Chelsea, he might stay for longer than those 3 or 4 years. Because right now, people are just making predictions. Yeah. You never know how long is he going to stay at Chelsea. You don't know if he's going to stay for a long time or not. But the reality is Chelsea needs a striker. Chelsea needs somebody who can finish chances. Chelsea has one clear and obvious gap in the structure of the team, and that's the number 9. And if Chelsea can get one of the best number 9s in the world, then I don't see that chance being missed. And if the club realistically want to win trophies, I don't see anything else. But Chris, what's your 2 cents about this whole Haaland thing?
Yeah, I'm actually quite confident in getting Haaland, but like the thing about Haaland, why I want him at Chelsea is because obviously he can get goals. He's got 10 in the Champions League. He can shoot with both legs. I'm pretty sure he is quick. He is strong. He's got that Diego Costa vibes, I would say, like about him. Like he will defend his team if they're in a fight. He will jump in like the first man in there. He shushes people in their face. What I like, he's got like that Chelsea DNA, I would say, in a way as well. Like everybody will hate Haaland if he comes to Chelsea. I have no doubt in that. Like, and I don't know for 100% if he's going to come to Chelsea, but I do know if he does come to Chelsea, I think it's going to be over for the Premier League. We'll win the league. I don't see City winning it if we get Haaland. It's going to be one of those things if Chelsea just make that signing. I think we should make that signing. It's the main person we probably do need. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's one thing about Haaland. Like, he'd be a good player for us.
Marshall. He's muted. You're muted, bro.
Okay. Look, I want Haaland. All right, he is arguably, I say arguably, my number one choice striker for the team. However, there's a few things that I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be, as we call this show, grounded and realistic about these things. I think we can strike a deal with Dortmund this season. I think we can, but the issue that I think is going to be the pin to the needle to the thorn to the side of this deal, and what might not make it happen, is Mino Raiola. I think, because when you look at the price, it's not going to be 150 mil. That might be what Dortmund gets out of it. You know, you have to pay an extra 20 mil potentially for Mino's fees, because, you know, he's just freaking Mino Raiola. So then at that point, it becomes a question. And on top of that, there's the father's fees too. So at that point, it becomes a question of, if Chelsea are willing to spend 150 million, are they willing to spend near 200 million to buy Haaland? And I know it's not my money. If they're willing to do it, they're willing to do it. Okay, so let's say we do get Haaland. Now, then the issue for me becomes, if we do get Haaland this window, and I'm with Andrew, I agree. If we get Haaland, I'm totally happy with that being our only transfer. My only issue is, will Tuchel be happy with that being his only transfer? Because I'm sure Tuchel, Tuchel will be happy that he solved the striker issue, but I'm sure Tuchel has other issues in the team that he wants to resolve, like another midfielder, another center back, a right wing back, if this is all true. And if we don't get him for that this season, then will Tuchel be happy? Then will our team drastically improve? So where I stand on this issue, and because like this is literally all you hear in the YouTube Chelsea space right now, it's all about Haaland and all that stuff. So I've heard a lot of opinions, and I've kind of come to my own opinion. And I'm also in this. I don't understand why the Chelsea fan base is, for them, it's either, I guess I do understand it because of the 17-18 window with the Zapacostas and Morata and all that. Yeah. I understand from that situation. I think I don't really stand why the Chelsea fan base, it's either Lukaku or Haaland or we don't win the Prem. I can name other strikers that aren't as great quality there, but they're good strikers that, for me, in my opinion, regardless of if we get Haaland this season or not, if we don't get him this season, I want to get him next season. So if anything, if we don't get him this season, I want a striker that we can have as a backup striker. Besides, because we need another striker regardless. If not, it can't just be Haaland. If Tammy goes, we do need another striker regardless. If we get a striker this season and then we get Haaland next season, I think I'm more like inclined to believe that that's what we're going to do. I know it's going to start controversy, but yeah, go ahead.
It is, because there is a lot of flaws in your whole statement. You know what it is? The fact is, I'm tired of Chelsea buying gap fillers, especially in the striker position. We had Patos, we had Giroud, we had all these gap fillers that never really solved the issue. And if we wait until next season, there are going to be sharks who are arguably bigger than us, especially for that price. As I know, Chelsea is very attractive, especially after winning the Champions League, but there are still bigger clubs than us, clubs that potentially other players would want to play for more. If we can strike a deal now for a player who's 21 years old, mind you, scoring 40 to 30 goals a season, I think Chelsea should jump on that. I don't think that this Chelsea team has so many issues as big as the striker position. I think when you look at Chelsea, that's the first thing. That's the first issue you look at. You see the midfield. I think our midfield is one of the best in Europe. Yeah, and it's proved because we won the Champions League, and then Jorginho won the Euros, playing a really. But
there's only 3 of them now.
Really crucial. Yeah, but we can solve that. We can solve that issue for cheaper money. It's not like a midfielder. It's going to cost as much as Rice. 30 million. We can get a great midfielder for. Kamavinga is quoted for 30 million. That is still a fourth choice midfielder. Plus, we only play with 2, so I don't see the issue. And we have Mount as well.
Yeah, and we got all of those loan guys that have come back. I'm sure
Just
Tuchel will
about to
pick
say that,
one
yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's Trevor Chalobah who's playing in League 1. There's Conor Gallagher who is playing at West Brom. I'm not saying these guys are going to start for Chelsea, but you know, Tuchel could look at one of those guys and be like, okay, I want to work with you as like a League Cup player, and then you'll come in.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He likes Dejan Sterling.
Yeah.
I
I agree with that. And I think that's what would happen if we were to get a Haaland this season, is that we're not going to get any other transfers. We're going to have to go into the youth or the loan army.
But you know where my argument comes from, right? It's worth it to get Haaland now.
Yeah.
No,
and I get it.
Very difficult.
I get it.
Next season, no, Marshall, I don't think you do, because next season it's not going to be a bidding war. It's going to be a release.
No, I get that. I get that.
So players just we play this stuff to the player. We are not in control anymore. You know.
But we were in a war to get Timo with Liverpool. Liverpool were Champions League. No, but Liverpool won the league and they were Champions League winner, and we got them. We were in a war for Kai Havertz. We ended up getting Kai Havertz. The thing is that I feel like there is look, I think for Chelsea, they could do the Jadon Sancho approach. Talk to him, talk him up, talk his ear up, say, hey, listen, we want to sign you to the club, but your agent's kind of getting in the way, whatever. I don't know. I'm not in the boardroom. I can't speak for them.
Yeah, but Marshall,
the thing is,
it's a completely different thing though, bro, because striker is like the cream of the crop. There is not many top strikers in Europe, so it's a rare commodity right now.
But there's not just two. You know,
name other than who's a top striker right now that Chelsea should get.
In my opinion, this is in my opinion. You guys aren't going to agree with me. I already am telling you right now. You aren't going to agree with me. But in my opinion, I can name 3 strikers that will currently improve the squad and help get the output. Those are, and you're not going to agree with me. I'm saying this right now. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Danny Ings, and Iheanacho.
Please.
Oh my God. You're not sure Chelsea. Oh my God. You're shameless,
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I might as well just keep Tammy if I'm getting Dominic.
Yeah.
No. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a much better striker than Tammy. Come on, bro.
Whoa, much better.
He might be better looking. He might be better looking, but I don't know better side.
He was one of the top scorers in Prem. And mind you, I named 3 Prem players that are like top scorers in the Prem.
But your fears over Raiola, I don't think ring true, because Chelsea know
we agreed to talk to him anyway. Yeah,
but Chelsea know they had to pay Raiola. That's why I think it's all about the bid. I think they're willing to pay Raiola. They're willing to pay his dad's fees. They're willing to do the personal terms. This is all about the bid. They knew about this before they even approached it. They've known they've had to pay Raiola. Everyone knows they've had to pay Raiola. I think they're fine with it. There was a report yesterday or the day before about them building bridges again with Raiola after 17 with Lukaku missed. Just building the bridges back up. They've known.
I just fear that Tuchel will be happy. Tuchel will be happy with Haaland, but he'll be upset that there's other. Like, I think Tuchel will want more, like not just Haaland, you know.
But who though? Because what you've said is you said that the other strikers that you would get in replace of as a stopgap.
No, not just strikers. I mean, like if we were to get just a striker,
you've only mentioned the strikers. So I'm saying, what other position do you think Tuchel wants to fill right now?
The midfield for sure, and which by the way, like with the midfield, we don't really know because Tuchel still needs to see what he has right now with the loan army and the youth coming back. So maybe that does get resolved there. But we are linked with Tchouaméni. We are linked with Declan Rice. Like there's a reason why we're linked to that. It's not just like made up, you know. Yes. And then there's a right wing back position that apparently maybe he wants, maybe he doesn't want and a center back. You know, there are some positions that, like, you know, Aspie's not going to be in the team for that much longer. You know, he is getting up there in age. Thiago Silva, we added another year to him, but we have to replace him after this window. You know, maybe we make some moves in the January transfer window as well, and have Haaland in the summer, but in the January transfer window we make some moves to add a little bit more depth to the squad. But Marshall, I don't know. That's why, like, I'm being like broad and I'm looking at it at both angles here.
I get that, but we have a chance. Again, with the Havertz, similar to the Havertz thing, to get a striker who is next level, man. Next level. It's what Chelsea, with all the respect of other strikers, other than Costa and Drogba, none of those were eyebrow raisers, you know, as far as quality.
Yeah.
Haaland, for me, as much as I love Drogba, as far as quality, raw talent and raw quality, for me, he is next level. He is closer to Mbappe and all those players. If Chelsea can get him for a price like 150 million, which isn't outrageous due to the fact that his age, the competition that we might be facing next season, is something that you shouldn't pass on. And
Another thing I do,
Calvin Lewin is not Chelsea quality. Playing for Everton and playing for Chelsea, you're not sure. That's Leicester. I think you're honestly, Marshall. I love you, bro, but I think you're disrespecting Chelsea by linking us to those players when we could be getting somebody who's actually the level of Chelsea, man.
Look,
so for me,
regardless if we get Haaland or not, we still need another striker, and those are options. All right, but here's the other thing I wanted to bring up with you guys at least. Look, I get that. I think people think that just because we are the only ones in competition to get Haaland this window because we're the only ones that can afford him right now, then that's the only opportunity. Like, as soon as the next window comes in, we're going to lose him. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I think even if all these clubs that, let's say we have the 150 mil and these clubs can't afford the 150 mil, we can still offer just as much money, if not less than 150 mil, than most other clubs can in the next summer transfer window. So I still think we can get Haaland next transfer window.
See, that's why you're not understanding, because it's not going to be a bidding war next season. It's going to be a release contract already activated for next season. So if they pay that price, or the set price of 75 to 80 million euros, they can talk to Haaland directly. They don't have to say anything to Dortmund, which is why the club is considered now. So you understand why the circumstances are a bit different now.
And the last thing I want to bring up is the thing about Haaland, and he's gonna like elevate us. Like, who's to say that? And again, this is all on Mino, because you see how much noise he makes over at Man United with Pogba. Who's to say that if Haaland comes to this club, he's gonna stay here for more than 3 years? You know, I feel like, yes, we can make the most out of him in the time that we have him.
What if he does stay, though?
Let him land.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't see, but the thing is, like, I think it's more likely that he's not going to stay than stay, because yes, I get it. The player, based on Mino Raiola, the player will like Chelsea. I have no doubt that Haaland will love Chelsea and he will want to stay with Chelsea. Mino, being the greedy POS that he is going to want to make money by getting him to move to another club and getting another transfer fee and getting his agent's fees out of that. I think that Mino will want him to move, just like Ibrahimovic, not Ibrahimovic, Ibrahimovic. I think he's going to be one of those players. But I don't know. We'll see. But that's just like, I'm kind of like, this is another perspective that people don't really think about. I don't think if Haaland comes in, he's going to stay for the club for forever. We're going to have the next Drogba,
Yeah, but
I think he's gonna be here for a minute.
That's the fear with every signing, though. That's not
For me, that's not even a fear. As I mentioned earlier, if Haaland comes in and he leaves in 2 or 3 years, the reason he'll be leaving is because there's going to be a bigger bid from maybe a Real Madrid, maybe a Bayern Munich, that takes him off our hands for the same or more money than we bought him for. And to put that question into context, ask yourselves: do you think if Dortmund sold Haaland, do you think they would regret buying him in the first place? They bought him, had him for 2 years. He got them in the Champions League back-to-back years, scoring a ton of goals, and they sold him for an astronomical fee. If that happens at Chelsea, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Also,
we could then go and buy Calvert-Lewin if you want him so bad.
Oscar and Marshall go. In those 2 or 3, let's say 3 years, if he bangs in over 100 goals, which he could be capable of doing, and we win I'm just saying if we win two Premier Leagues and another European Champions League, are you going to complain if he leaves after that? Because I'm not.
No.
I'm not going. I'm sorry. I'm not going to complain, because it's 2 league titles and it's potentially a Champions League. I don't care. If he
Andrew,
leaves,
do you know what you just described? Do you know what you just described?
What's that?
Diego Costa. Same for Chelsea. 1 2 league titles. Everybody loves him. Everybody looks back on him as one of the greatest strikers. Nobody cares that he left.
That's the thing, though. If Chelsea does this right and he does leave, we better have a backup, because I don't want to be back in this predicament. The reason we're in this predicament is because we never replaced Diego Costa. We just sold him, and that's it. Like, if we just sell Haaland, and then
Marshall, if they sign him, they should have measly scouting right from then. They should.
They should. I hope they do
for the next one.
Marshall, you're forgetting one guy.
Keep the tabs open. keep your tabs open for whoever's next.
Don't say Timo. Don't say
Strike a- you know
Timo.
what?
We
please.
still have
strike
Timo.
strike a deal for if the next big
Timo's not
big
a
player
man,
comes up. Strike a deal for them in 2
Yeah.
years' time. Let them stay at the club they are on loan because you've still got Haaland. Haaland to play another year. And if Haaland wants to go to the third year, you've got that next up and coming striker to come in. That's what they should do.
But Andrew, do you know when we signed Costa, we actually did do that. We signed a player called Michy Batshuayi,
That's
and
right. Yeah.
he didn't turn out to be as good as we thought he would be.
That was out of nowhere, that transfer. I don't even know where that
and
came from.
he's still there. I guess he's going to turn up to training at any point now, and Tuchel has to make a decision on him as well. So
but you know what? We have to move to the next topic, but I just have to ask Marshall this question. What is your goal next season for Chelsea? What is your goal for next season? Because my next question would be based on that. What is your goal for Chelsea next season?
Okay, I wanna try and win the Prem, and I wanna win the Champions League again.
Okay.
And you think you can do that with somebody like Calvin
Actually,
Lewin or,
let's just say it. I want to win the quad. You know what I mean? Like, I want to really go for it. You know, I think we can. If we do it right. The Super Cup too. I want to win everything. You know.
But can you win that with Iheanacho or Calvin Lewin as your main strikers?
Here's the way I look at it.
You also need to remember we have competition. We have City, who's one of the richest teams in Europe, who is 100% gonna sign a striker according to CEO. So they could be getting Harry Kane or Grealish. So Liverpool also gonna improve. So you think if we signed some, it's not my channel, so I'm gonna say inferior players. Yeah, are we gonna be able to compete with those players?
Inferior to Haaland.
No. Inferior to Chelsea, inferior to us. We shouldn't be buying players from the level of Leicester and Everton. I'm sorry.
I think that those players, and like, come on, man, like you're saying their clubs like Leicester, like bro, Dortmund. You know what I mean? Like it's like it doesn't matter what the club is from. The quality is there. And Calvert-Lewin is arguably the best player at Everton. But anyways,
yeah. But who is Everton? Where did Everton finish?
I'd argue that.
We'll argue that. Well, that's a different argument. But anyways, I think based on Timo's numbers, based on the numbers that we have, all those players I listed have better numbers in the Prem and would improve the squad. And that slight improvement, it's not the Haaland drastic improvement, but that slight improvement would be enough to send us over the edge to get the output that we need to get the goals that we were missing and all that stuff. It won't be like high 30s Haaland numbers, but it'll be just enough to win us those games and get us just over the edge to win the Prem, Champions League, all that stuff all over again. Yeah, and as it is right now, this team will improve as it is right now without a striker. I really think so under Tuchel with a full season. But we do need a striker regardless, and I think those strikers, just slotting him in, will give us a slight improvement to send us over the edge. That's just my opinion. That's
my biggest issue with that argument is, first of all, you can't. Playing against Chelsea is not the same thing as playing against Everton or Leicester. Teams don't allow you to have the space, or the for you to be able to score that many goals. We've seen that many times before, man. That when Iheanacho was at City, he wasn't given the numbers that he was doing at Leicester. You don't play the same way, so there's no guarantee if these, again, inferior players are going to come to Chelsea and going to start scoring these numbers. So you're basically signing players who are.
You can make that same argument for Haaland, though.
I disagree with that. I think sometimes like players, they have to prove themselves. They get clubs. And even Iheanacho, he was a backup striker at City, but he still had a good goal scoring record. He's still good. I just don't think Calvert-Lewin is any good. I think Ancelotti is the reason he scored as many goals as he did this season.
And
you play through him in a certain way. I genuinely think Tammy's a better striker than him because on the ball he's terrible.
He scored in a glut and then didn't score for a long period. He had a Tammy season.
He would cost us like 50 million to get him off Everton. It would be cheap.
At least.
Yeah, it wouldn't be cheap. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
At least. And I'm not.
I don't think he's terrible.
80 million for Rice. I'm not paying 50 million for Calvert-Lewin.
I would say Salah as well, but I feel like Salah is. I feel like
This is one.
That's what I mean. Calvin Lewin costs 50 million, and Haaland will cost probably maximum 150 million British pounds. So, do you like really get Calvin Lewin, who's just going like just be there to compete with Timo, and might not even start over Timo? Or do you get someone?
I think we get both. That's my argument. I think we get both. Not Calvin Lewin, but you know.
But we still got Timo and all that. But like, do you get someone like 10 times levels above a 50 million overpriced English player?
Yeah.
So the easiest choice for me is to save Chelsea.
Just to me is that I don't want to sell Giroud, sell Tammy, and then not have a backup striker. I think Chelsea are going to get a striker no matter what.
No,
if they can't strike a deal with Haaland, it's going to be someone.
Yeah, but we need a main striker. Then think about the backup striker, man. That's the. But anyway, let's just move away from this.
Marshall doesn't rate Haaland. Okay, we'll just move on.
It's not that. It's not that don't rate Haaland. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, there's a lot of players who are coming back from loan. Yeah.
Defense.
I'm gonna go through you guys, and you guys tell me one by one which player are you excited about, which player you're gonna think is gonna impress Tuchel, and which player next season you're gonna think you guys see becoming, taking that next step under Tuchel. Andrew, I'll start with you.
Are we talking about from the loan players or just generally?
Any player, I think.
Any player?
I think that's what he meant.
Any player.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, from the
in our squad
from the current team, which player do you think next season is going to show like that he took that next level, And from the player who's coming back from loan, who do you think is going to do the same thing?
So the player's I think it's going to go on even further. Is Reece James, I believe, will show more levels next season and more defensive, and I hope more of an attacking side. From the loan players, I don't know whether this is probably my heart speaking more than my head. So I'm not going to be logical with this answer. I know Kai's not going to agree right away, but if he can show any signs at all, I would love Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know it's madness in it. It's utter madness, but
it is madness.
That goddamn friggin' friendly that he played in. If
he
hadn't played in that friendly, I believe you would be. I believe you would have had a great. He would have a good career with us. But you know what? Actually, do you know what? Let me put out that left field. I think Conor Gallagher might have a chance actually in making the squad as like a fourth or fifth choice midfielder. On a serious note, Conor Gallagher.
Oscar, what about you? Same question.
In terms of the players coming back, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't see any of them remaining in our squad.
Come on,
no. The only player I would have some hope for is if we were to sell Kurt Zouma. I think Mark Guehi might be staying. That would be interesting because I think he's a really good defender. He looks promising. He looks comfortable on the ball. If not, I could also see Tuchel going, he needs a Premier League loan, so let him go out alone in the Premier League. Conor Gallagher, potentially, I just don't see it. Personally, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think his time is up at Chelsea Football Club.
That was the heart. That was the heart, not the head.
I watched him closely at Fulham. I watched a lot of Fulham. Scott Parker played nice football, had them playing all right, but they kept losing. They needed something. They needed moments, and Ruben was not providing it for them. He wasn't. Yeah, he got dropped towards the end. He didn't start at the beginning of the season. Then he worked his way into the team. Then towards the end of the season, when they were fighting for relegation, Ruben was not in that side. I don't think he showed that he was, a standout player in a relegation team. So for me, I don't see any of these players working out long term. In terms of the player that I think is going to surprise everyone, Kai, I think you know my answer already. You know what I'm going to say. Callum Hudson-Odoi, man, it has to be his time.
Bro, I hope from the amount of time that you guys talk about this guy, man, he better. I hope next season is gonna be, hey, the fourth year out of the last four, man. It's gotta be a lucky number, isn't it, man? 4 from 4. There we go, man.
I thought 3 was lucky, but yeah, apparently 4 now we got to wait for. I don't know. It all depends on whether Tuchel likes him because I commented on your tweet earlier saying that like in the Champions League final we didn't play Pulisic, we didn't play Ziyech, we didn't play Cho. And those are 3 of our natural wingers in the biggest game of our season didn't play. So does Tuchel even want to play a system with wingers? If he doesn't, like if he'd prefer to just play Mount and Havertz, then Hudson-Odoi is probably going to go this next season or in January or whatever.
You think a loan, though? Do you think maybe, because he hasn't really experienced a loan, Hudson-Odoi, do you think maybe a loan could be beneficial to him.
Oh yeah, of course. He needs to play football. Yeah,
Because that's the thing he hasn't experienced like the others. He hasn't experienced like a loan.
For me,
like
the issue with the loan, I call Chelsea loans the loans of no return, man.
yeah.
There's rarely players who go to on loan and they return from it, either sold or.
That's true.
So that's what one thing I'm worried about.
Mount and Reece, really, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
return from loans and come into the team, really.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Marshall, same question. Have you heard the question? Should I repeat it or did you hear it?
No, I heard it. This thought just came to me. It's gonna sound like Chelsea controversy, but anyways, or conspiracy theory.
Everything you say is a conspiracy theory, bro.
This is gonna sound like a Chelsea conspiracy theory, but considering that Callum and Ruben had similar injuries around the same time, they actually had similar seasons where the beginning of the season they worked their way up into the team. I think Ruben's peak was that Liverpool game. If I that's the one I remember the most. When Fulham tied Liverpool 1-1, Ruben looked phenomenal that game. He was carrying that team. But like Callum, they kind of had a drop off and they just, they didn't see the pitch again. I think this is the season for both of them. Now that they got like a season to like really like get themselves match fit, used to the injury and used to playing again and all that, I think this is the season for them to both prove that they deserve a spot in the team. So I think Ruben has a chance, especially now considering that he's in training right now and Jorginho and all of them, they're not going to show up for another 3 weeks because of their break. I think like Andrew had mentioned, because that spot that we had before is now open because Gilmore is off. I think the simple replacement is developing another player in his place. A Gallagher just slots right in there. And we'll see what happens with Andrin. I want to see what happens with Andrin. Andrin's another one that I'm interested in. He was in that Champions League squad. I want to see what Tuchel sees in him. And we'll see, because apparently you were saying, Kai, and I didn't get to hear this part of the Fabrizio stream, that Chelsea, Tuchel, Jan thinks Tuchel doesn't really favor Callum and he doesn't have a future in Tuchel's plans. We'll see. If that is the case, I do want to see an Andrin step up. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Chris, same question.
Yeah. Like all of you listed many players who will probably impress Tuchel. Oh my god, one sec. Right. I think they're done. Oh my god, one sec, sorry.
It's Spartacus.
Yeah, just mute it.
No. I just, the two dogs, man. Like, there's one player, like, I think I will die on the hill for. I will die on the hill for this guy. Yeah, I think Timo Werner will impress Tuchel more next season. I think Tuchel is probably getting the best out of him, the best he can. And I think when Timo starts scoring more goals, it will shock the fans. The fans will be in shock because they don't. He's lost a lot of faith in a lot of fans, I would say, right now. Like, a lot of fans have just lost hope in him, and understandable. Like, he's missed a lot of chances. He doesn't. But the one thing about Timo, it doesn't seem to be phasing him. He still keeps trying. He's laughing and joking still. He's not looking miserable. He's loving life still, of course. And that's the thing. So I think Timo Werner will impress Tuchel next season.
Yeah. And from the players who are coming back from loan, who do you think will slot into the team?
Trying to think, because we got a very good squad now. From loan, who just came in right now?
Yeah. Who do you think is going to come back and actually put into the team? Personally, I don't think any of the loan players are going to stay here.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It's very, very, very slim, and I don't have much faith a lot of them make it in. I think maybe Ruben's got his last chance, I would say. He's 25 or something, and I feel for the guy because he's had a lot of injuries through his career, and he's a very talented footballer, as we saw in Sarri's time. He was good under Sarri, so it's very slim. The only one I can see is maybe Ruben.
Okay, yeah.
And the rest is, yeah.
I'm surprised none of you said Kai Havertz, man. I can't wait to see that guy next season. For me, he is the player who's going to improve them.
that's
I
fully
think it's a
expected for me.
no-brainer. Yeah,
That's a
I think it's a
no-brainer.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think Kai is
Same.
there. Like he's that good.
Yeah.
I think he might
For
be
me-
the player of the season, not Chelsea player
For-
of the season, the actual
yeah,
player
yeah.
of the season. I think he can get
For me,
player
yeah,
of the
Kai Havertz. I can't wait to see Kai Havertz play. And as far as the loans, I don't see any of them. Ruben, I would love for him to prove me wrong. I just think that ACL, for me, it's game over. You know, it's at the level where Chelsea's at. I don't think he's gonna be able to play. You know, so for
season.
me,
I know.
and anybody else, SpongeBob, Michi, I don't see him staying either. I think he's. I think.
Hey, if we need a backup striker, man, he might be the backup.
I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
I think
They'll
that's.
bring back Solomon Kalou.
Yeah. I think those guys will go on other loans, especially Gallagher. I don't know where that came from, but you're not going to go from West Brom. Yeah, but you're not going to go from West Brom to Chelsea. Like that's not how it works. I think he's going to get another loan.
Mount
Until
went
they.
from Derby. Mount went from Derby to Chelsea.
Yeah, but-
Why can't Gallagher go from West Brom? He played in the Premier League.
Yeah, but come on, Mount actually was
What?
like.
But Kai, don't you
don't
think
know,
like
do we?
it-
We don't know.
he's a youth player like Gilmore? Don't you think he just slots right in and you play him just like you played Gilmore, like just sparingly? Like you don't think he fits right in?
Yeah, I'm not talking about going right in. I'm talking about fourth or fifth
Yeah.
choice.
Hey,
I
man,
think he's like a swap replacement
Yeah.
for Gilmore. It's
Yeah. I'm not talking, I think I'm talking playing like 15 to 20 games max in all competitions.
I don't expect him to be better than Gilmore, but I mean
Yeah, but
he'll fit right in. I think.
yeah. All right, peeps. If you guys want to ask us any questions, we're gonna go for like two or three more minutes. So if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask anybody from the panel, and then we're gonna wrap up. So if in the chat, if you have any questions that you want to ask us,
We'll
Oh, yeah,
put, what about
yeah,
the
that-
Sonda?
I don't know, man. I've seen Mosonda become a bodybuilder now. I see him lifting weights, and you guys think he should? What do you think? Do you think he's gonna get this chance? I don't see it.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played a football match.
Football for a while,
2
yeah.
years.
How many
2
years?
Yeah. I mean, terrible injury.
It'll be really nice to see him, train with the boys, get a bit of that Premier League 2. He'll probably play some of those games, and I think he'll get his reps up in those games, and then in January he might then go out on loan. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't see
think-
him playing for Chelsea first team.
I think.
Yeah.
I think 2 injuries of 2 years of hell, career-threatening injury. He's worked his way back marvelously, but I just don't think he just won't feature. He's got so many. At the current squad depth, he's got so many players in front of him.
Above him,
Yeah.
It's just not even feasible. Right.
But guys, I got to head out. But I appreciate the show. It's been really good fun. I've enjoyed hearing your opinions, man.
Thank you for coming, Oscar. Take care.
Next
Take
time,
care.
Oscar.
Have a good one, Oscar.
Cheers, mate.
All right. So this who do you think will have the most assists next season? That's a good
Okay.
question. I think it'll be Ziyech, if I'm honest.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing, but
Nah,
I couldn't say it. I can't say it. I just can't.
I think it'll be Mount or Werner.
I-
Mount or Werner.
Maybe, yeah.
Especially if we get Haaland. You can see
Who
Werner
had the
play-
most assists for us this season? Was it?
I think it was Werner actually, wasn't it?
Right, Chris? Werner,
Jesus.
the
It
most
was
assists
it was
this season?
Timo Werner with 15 assists for Chelsea, top assist guy.
And don't give me
That's
this
disappointing,
chance. Don't
man.
give me this chances rubbish. Give me big chances. Yeah, not chances because
No,
chances can
no.
be- no.
I'm on
no,
about
seriously.
assists, though,
I'm
right?
just talking about. No, I'm talking about like when someone says, "Oh, they create the most chances." No, I need because throwing from a throw in or a corner is counted as a chance. I mean chances that result in us getting a goal,
Big chances,
or
great,
making
yeah.
a goalie save, or hitting the post, or something like
Yeah.
that. I need
I
that,
agree.
and I think Mount could do it, and I think Werner definitely could do it, especially if he plays off Haaland. Maybe even Kai Havertz. Maybe even
I'm interested to see if they play like a 4-2-2 something formation at times
Yeah.
as well, like with Werner and Haaland, and I think Werner would like thrive off Haaland, like a big
Yep.
striker like him. So I wonder, like get like a bunch of assists, a few goals, hopefully, like he improves in that area. So yeah,
All right. Next one.
The Timo agenda.
Out of 10, what do you think your chances are of signing Haaland this window? For me, I think it's a 5. I would love for it to happen, but I just don't trust Chelsea getting this deal done. Especially we money pinch, we penny pinch a lot, and that's why I don't see it happening. But Andrew, just a number
9.
9.
9.
Wow.
I'll tell you why. This is different. I'll keep it short. Different transfer, and I think we're so far down the road that I'm telling you now, it's just the bid, Kai. It's just the bid and how much money we're going to give him. I believe that's it. I believe the next 2 weeks we'll sign him.
Mind you, I'm of the camp that we don't necessarily need Haaland to win the Prem and Champions League next season.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 6.
6. Okay, Chris.
I'm gonna say 10 because I'm 100% confident he's come to Chelsea. So it's a done thing.
So me and Marshall are the pessimists.
Kai, you were so like, I was surprised by the 6, Kai. You were like, when Marshall was saying his bit, you were so like in the favour of like Haaland.
No, I was surprised you said 5.
Don't get me wrong. I want him. I love Haaland. I love it.
I want him too.
But this club is more likely for getting Danny Ings and Declan Rice for the same price and calling it transfer window. I hope
it's not the same price.
I have been like advocate of Chelsea changing their transfer policy for a while because I have seen us going for quantity over quality, and that's my issue. I rather spend 150 million on him rather than on somebody like Declan Rice and then Ings for the same price. But I just don't see Chelsea spending this much money on one player. I would love for me to be proven wrong, but from history, I don't know where it's gonna come from. But I hope I'm wrong.
Different transfer to anything we've done before.
I hope I'm proven wrong. Because you know me, I want us to get Haaland. I want us to challenge for Premier Leagues. I am tired of what Chelsea have become. I want us to be better, but
you don't want to be heartbroken.
As soon as you sign Haaland, I'm not going to speak about him.
Yeah,
I'm just done. I'm not going to speak about him.
I'm tired of it too. I'm tired.
I'm a little tired of it too.
Anyway, people, thank you so much for watching the show with us. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe. Help Indiana out. Thank you for Indiana again for having me host this show. Well, tough luck, bro. I hope you feel better. But I did host your show on its debut, so there you go, bro. So people, take care. Yeah, exactly. Take care of yourself, people, and we'll see you guys next time with Will hopefully feeling better. See you guys.